Hi, this is Chris, and this is my video response, week 3, group 1. The first question, we were looking at the relationship between life-sustaining functions and the demographics described in the text, and how different groups have different experiences and hazards from life-sustaining functions. And I think that honestly, this question is really one of the reasons why I even wanted to do this program. Reading this text, it really hit home with me on what my real desire is. I am definitely drawn to looking at ways to help different minority groups in situations where, um, so oftentimes for economic reasons, political reasons, um, and in this case, environmental hazards end up being, you know, thrust upon them, mainly for lack of a voice, lack of ability to do anything about it. Oftentimes, as was discussed, jobs that are more hazardous, more, exposed to different chemicals. You typically do see people of different minority groups in that situation. And I think that the reference on page 67, the 1987 study by the Commission for Racial Justice, just kind of emphasizes that. And then also looking on 70, where he mentions the lack of resources to be proactive led to a knowledge gap. And I think that's really the key, is that oftentimes it's lack of education, lack of really knowledge of how to better a situation, how to report, hazards, or feeling like you don't have a voice. Oftentimes is what really gets folks who are in a minority group um, to kind of feel trapped in that situation. And, I really enjoyed this reading. Moving on to the other question, which was according to Bookchin, what is the role of utopian visioning for creating ecological society? And, here, this really, I felt, tied back to Leopold quite a bit, because it's talking more about being that connection, human connection with the natural environment. I liked his critique that humans are now more disconnected from the natural world, and I think what he's trying to say on page 318 with the utopian visioning of a free society um, is really that, at our core, there is still that individual human that used to be connected to the natural world, and we have gotten away from that. And then he goes on page 343, and talking about how that the structure of an ecological society is one that is connected back to that natural reality and that biological world, where we really aren't separate from, the rest of our surroundings. We're not over anything. We aren't above. We aren't here to, um, you know, supersede any other living creature. We really are part of this ecosystem. We are part of the natural world. And I think that we should look at it from that perspective instead of removing ourselves and placing ourselves so often as we do, I think, above everything else. So, it's kind of always interesting when you talk about, folks saying, you know, concern for the future of humans and how the world will end, when in fact the earth, as it, as we think about it, has been here for millions of years and isn't going anywhere. So, um, but we change and we adapt or we don't, but we are, a species here just like any other species, and I think that it's important to understand that we are still connected to that. And the reading was quite difficult, but it was a good, it was very interesting to read, and I think definitely brought out some good points. So um, that's all for this week, and we'll see you later.